My name's Andy. So my project is a boutique hotel in Newcastle. So a quick overview, it's 16 stories plus a rooftop, 140 rooms and around about 8,000 square metres. So a little bit of background. There's a current rise of boutique hotels internationally with the Standard Hotels, Ace Hotel, locally with the QT Hotel 1888. So we're seeing a little bit of a backlash away from those generic hotels we've seen in the past, and more of a move towards the hotel as a destination in its own right. And a move with younger clients having more sophisticated tastes, but it's actually independent of actual wages. So they're seeking higher quality rooms, but not necessarily the same amount of services. I've got a quote here that has a lot of meaning for this project and to Newcastle. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So I'm just looking at that idea of the subject and the frame and the alignment, and how the subject is somehow something more because of the frame. And looking at those sort of quiet contemplative moments, when we see a sort of interesting alignment, we seem to have imbued meaning upon it, and we get taken into that moment of privacy or that awareness of self. So a brief overview. Athcote Lane is a boutique hotel located in Newcastle CBD, utilising one of the dingy and forgotten spaces at the heart of many Newcastle city blocks. The tower extends vertically like an organism, morphing and reacting to view corridors and opportunities. The strategic location enables the project to act as a didactic tool, aligning guests to all the major landmarks, and this way it also acts as a wayfinding device for guests, creating curiosity in the mind of the observer to explore an unfamiliar city. So just a bit of site context, the greater surrounds. So you can see I'm just located in the very centre of the Newcastle CBD. And if we just see here, that's the Novotel Hotel. So it's quite close proximity to my project, which is a strong counterpoint to that. And then here we can see the location. This is Athcote Lane here. It's a dead-end laneway off King Street. This is my site here, and it's bound to the north and south by sort of low-value parking facilities at $5 an hour. Just another contextual photo, just to give you an idea of the broader views and surroundings of the site. And you can see that red arrow on the right showing it entry to Athcote Lane there. Again, that's that blank tabula rasa site with the parking to the north and south. It's a plain table site. You see that larger red rectangle, that's the boundary of ownership of the site. So that building to the left, which you can see next to that arrow there, that's just like utility space and originally was parking for that Athcote apartments to the right there. It's an old Art Deco building. And you can see those radiating lines coming out, just shows all the various major landmarks of Newcastle. The obelisk, the cathedral, Queen's Wharf Tower, Nobby's, ships in the harbour, Stockton, the ocean baths and the beach. So I'm just going to run through a series of form generating diagrams. I'll go back to the start in a second. So starting with the site location, we can already see that in the progression from the publicity of the street to the privacy of the room, the site itself is already sort of one step removed from that in that semi-private lane. So the first thing I've done is create a link through the back of the site, just punching through that security car park and creating that link back the laneway through to Hunter Street, which comes out opposite the old post office. Just extruding that site plan up vertically to gain access to light and views. Projecting the faces out over the neighbour's airspace to be able to increase what is a fairly small floor plate of 11 by 16 metres. Fragmenting the massing into frames to break down the facade bulk. Splitting the facade open to create these deeper secondary views. And then twisting and morphing the whole form towards specific landmarks and view corridors. And then again, all those different landmarks and items around, you see the form specifically reacting to that as the tower rises. If we look around at the northern elevation, this is viewed above Hunter Street. So I'm just removing that portion. As you can see, to hollow out a dining area to the north, which faces back towards Nobbies and up towards Stockton. Just looking at the roof plane, discarding the roof plane and specific walls to make those sort of channeled views and creating that large rooftop pool, bar and recreational area. The view on King Street, looking at the overall massing. So you can see how the form is growing and morphing over some of the neighbouring buildings. It's arriving in the lane. We can see that sort of wet, dark laneway is celebrated. You can see the mossy plants growing and starting to see that stratified, stacked form coming right down to the ground plane. Just looking at the ground level, you can see the entry there. Entry there through an airlock, a library seating area, fire area, the reception lounge. You can see that punched through the neighbouring security car park, giving access through to Hunter Street. The back of house area, and there's an existing roller draw in the laneway. I'm just punching through that, which is currently just 2 tight car spaces with a goods lift that drops down to the basement area, utilities, laundry, storage areas. This is a typical floor plate above about the 7th level, rising up to the full height. So we can see as we exit the lift core here, we've got that natural widening because it's a point of meeting and gathering, and we've also got that funneling of the views out to these specific locations. And then we can see again those primary views. The floor plate is clustered into fingers with these wet areas clustered around those points. Again, there's that primary view out of each room, which is not obviously like centre of frame to a landmark, but slightly side on, but in that direction. This is the experience of being in the room. So we're looking out to a specific view. At this point, we're only really aware of the aperture or the opening. We can't really see the building in and around us. It's like a cave-like space of looking out towards that, with these large expressed window reveals. So as I mentioned, we've got these incidental views at the end of the corridors, which is aligned with the ocean horizon. See the sunrise over sea, at these sort of temporary points of passing. And then again, in the actual rooms themselves, in the wet areas, it might be a basin or a shower or a bath, these little momentary points of passing. Try and create a lasting, memorable view. It's the experience of one of those spaces. So you can see we're aligned with one of those views. You can see those sort of stacked or stratified layers above, creating different moments rather than just a sheer slit view. And we can see the material sensuality of the facade being brought right into these wet areas. We can start to notice that the facade is actually reused cement domestic roof tiles stacked. So this is that facade system. So so we've got those express quartern deep reveals, which is about 800 to 900 deep. Stainless steel threaded rods stacked and mounted into the mortar bed, and these reused cement tiles which will gain moss. I've chosen cement because it absorbs moisture, whereas ceramics, like terracotta, generally doesn't. So it's going to reveal that the local conditions at each height as it rises. Structurally, these fingers are actually effectively work as beams, so that these large cantilevers can sort of operate independently as the tower rises. Still be able to achieve that. Some technical drawings are showing that stacking of the tiles on the outside on the threaded rods. You can see here that's the customisation of a standard tile being cut into 3 pieces. The actual depth, you can see, is about 85 to 65. So there's just a little variation in the depth just to get those stacked layers, creating little ledges and visual interest. The restaurant area, which is a double height space, open with a deep overhang above, amenities based around the core, flexible function spaces with operable walls, and the kitchen and storage area. And then rising up to the rooftop area, you can see where these specific walls have been deleted from the general design language. You see this is just a clear frameless glass balustrade. These specific little niches and areas that you can spend time overlooking back to the pool. East-west orientation of the pool, looking out over the pool to the ocean horizon. That's a sample of those views. Impression of the rooftop, looking out towards the horizon. You see Stockton up in the distance there with the amazing sand dunes. Section showing that double height restaurant area, the rooftop, double height foyer, and that basement area. And just to read just a couple of snapshots of the model, just showing those specific views. This one's on the northern side where Hunter Street is. You can see even at these very low levels, it's reacting and viewing through particular view corridors to look at the city beyond and the landscape beyond as we get higher. Thank you.